Good morning. It is Barbara, the East Coast Dragon Lady, coming to you on Sunday. It's a nice summer's day here. It's in the 70s. It's not humid, so it's tolerable, which is nice. If you've been catching me all week, I have been posting cards from my new, or the Oracle deck that I've just bought, the Garden Dragons. And if you remember, they showed up last week for me. I'd not encountered these dragons that live in the fairy realm. So when I was looking for more information, of course, I came across an Oracle deck. And, if you're like me and you've got hundreds of them, you're like, oh, what's another one? But this one is really cute. I mean, it's cute little dragons, but they've got some very powerful messages for us. And I really started off this reading with today's, which was the artichoke dragon. And it just, I think, sort of, as I always say, a lot of these things, some of the messages are meant for me because I'm pulling them, but the word guarded came up. And these dragons tend to have some prickly exteriors. If you've seen an artichoke, it's got all the pointy bits on it. This was about, are we guarding ourselves, and are we taking notice, especially the try to avoid lashing out until you've really explored why you feel so prickly. It could be that your own mental state is preventing people from seeing how fabulous you are. So even with all the things that we do, grounding ourselves, clearing our aura, clearing the house, sometimes, and I've resolved myself to this, we're not seen as we're supposed to. So that's something I'm going to sit with this week. It's also, thank goodness, Mercury is no longer retrograde. It has been quite almost 4 week period, even though I started off the beginning of this month saying I was optimistic about the retrograde. Of course, when Mercury's retrograde, all the communication and all of those things, technology, contracts, all of those things come up for us to review. And as optimistic as I was at the beginning of the month, by about halfway through the month, I decided, okay, Mercury's retrograde. I started my bathroom project. I was very aware Mercury was retrograde. I felt that maybe sometimes I put those things out like, oh, I don't want to do it. Maybe if I rethink what I've been through, we're going into week 6. I do have a shower. I don't have a full bathroom yet. Lots of communication, not from the people that are doing the work for me, unforeseen things, and I'm not even going to speak on it because it really has made me question other people. And as old as I am, there are still times that I go, really? People can be that mean? And yes, they can. So I think that the garden dragons coming when they did was for a reason. So I started off by pulling a few more. So was anything else I wanted to say? I've been trying to keep myself more visible. I've been posting shorter videos each day around the card, putting them on Instagram, putting them on my story, because I'm trying to figure out the algorithms. And it seems, a lot of us put a lot of energy and effort into bringing whatever we put out to the public, and sometimes it goes unseen. And I've seen other people posting about it. I know it's not personally at me, it's about, and I'm not sure I want to go and look for another platform because this works for me, not in the best way. And I'm still questioning. Here we are in July, almost the end of July. I'm still questioning, is this what I should be doing? I said I was going to take this year to look at it, to see what comes up. Um, and so far, I'm not feeling positive, because there are people also that are falling away that have been helping me with various things, and that's a natural progression. Um, but yeah, it's still in review. What am I going to do next year? What's 2027 going to be for me? Um, and retirement keeps coming up. I keep meeting people that have say, my hairdresser just retired. Literally, I went for my last appointment and she said, oh, by the way, this is my last week, I'm retiring. And I keep running into people that I know that have retired. So that's a big thing hanging over me as well, about, can I afford to retire? That's the other thing. Because I didn't, the middle of my life didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. So I really, like halfway through my life, I had to reinvent myself, like figure out what I was doing. So I didn't have a great financial start like halfway through, but I'm getting there. So all I can do is keep moving forward, and if I can go to work, then I'm going to work. So let's see what the Garden Dragons have for us this week. So I did pull four cards to set us off. So I said the Artichoke Dragon started, then the Onion Dragon came up this week and came up again. And this is about, if you peel an onion, it makes you cry. It was about release, about releasing our emotions. And a lot of us hold on to them in our lower chakras. And this has come up again for this week's theme. So it's looking at, are we getting rid of all of the old shit, is what I'm hearing. Now, the Lemon Lime Dragon, which is actually a two-headed dragon, which I was just reading about, which you don't find two-headed dragons very often. And I'm going to find a bit about them in a minute. And this is about union. So I really wanted to look that up. So you're learning this as I do. But it's about union. And I feel like that's bringing things back together. Actually, listening to a couple of online astrologers about Pisces, they all kept saying an old flame or an old love was going to come forward, and I'm like, not who I'm thinking of, I hope not. But this union, it feels again like, let's see what the message is. When the Lemon Lime Dragon turns up looking for someone who wants to partner with you, so yeah, it's about partnership. Union is the name of this dragon's game. Just like the lemon and the lime, there are some things that just go together easily. Be open to a joint effort coming your way. Also, it is an excellent time to reach out your hand to offer your friendship. These are the associations that will last for a lifetime. Don't look for someone like you. Instead, find someone whose talents and energy complement yours. So that's interesting. We've talked about the releasing, letting go, and then finding, it's almost like opposites attract. And I wanted to also read about the two-headed dragon. It says, the juveniles. It says the tales of, I can't find it now. There's only a few garden dragons that sport more than one head. The Lemon Lime Dragon is the rare, I can't say that name. You can easily identify this creature by the colour as an adult. Identifying the juveniles by colour alone is more challenging. The best thing to do is find a green two-headed dragon is to look at the dual tails. These will be distinct if faint colour striations showing. So it's also got two tails and two heads. That's if you see dragons. I haven't come across a two-headed, two-tailed dragon in my galactic travels, but now we're in the sort of fairy realm, that lower, I'm not going to call it a lower level, but a lower, like fairies are in the fairy realm, which is part of us. And then the carrot dragon is about observe. And that reminds me that on my computer, I used to have a sticky that used to say, observe, do not absorb. And I think that's the message today from the carrot dragon, which is interesting little dragon, is about observe. I think observe and do not absorb is always a good, it's sometimes hard not to like take on other people's energy. If you go into areas where like malls and places like that, which these days I avoid, any areas that have got lots of people, you can pick up lots and lots of negative energy, and they see us, they see the light that we shine, and they are attracted to us. I've encountered people that are what I call energy vampires that see us and they suck the life out of us. You know, you leave a meeting and you're like, I just want to sleep. Like, I need a cup of coffee to wake me up. Be aware of those. So the message for this dragon, the carrot dragon, is a keen observer of life. If this dragon has flown into your life, you are being told to watch with clear eyes. There is much that could obscure your field of vision. Study your surroundings to mark any significant changes. While we don't all use our sight in the same way, this is a reminder to extend your senses outwards. Contemplate how you affect the world. So again, how are you presenting yourself to the world? That came up earlier. The observe, don't absorb. And the last one is the peach dragon, which is a cute, and it's actually peach season. I actually had one of the first peaches here in the northeast of the United States. My son works at our local farm and he brought me home one of the first peaches. And it's about vulnerability, being vulnerable. So I think these are all like cautions for us this week. Let me see, peach. There's pumpkin. I'm hoping that we get to all of these eventually. I don't know when you have oracle decks. I always want to learn everything about them, and you can't straight away. It took me, even with my own oracle deck that I published a couple of years ago, I had to, after writing it and publishing it and putting it out, I still had to learn to work with it and connect with that dragon energy. So the peach dragon, the message is vulnerability is called for. If not, it is not weak to allow someone into your unguarded heart. It is an act of extreme bravery. Let them pass through your gates and fences. Believe that you are believe that you are a beautiful achievement worthy of being handled with delicate care. Those you invite in will see your openness as a gift. Sweetness in life can be found by sharing with others in an unguarded fashion. So interestingly, we've talked about being guarded and observing, but releasing our emotions, but to also be vulnerable. And that is a huge, for those of us that have been hurt in our lifetime or in previous lives or any of those things that, locked down everything. It's taken me decades to release those chains that I put around there, because I'm like, oh, no, no, no. And the trouble is, when you dip your feet in a little bit and, you get the first warning sign, you tend to retreat. So I think that it's learning to be vulnerable again, learning to open our hearts and to get hurt, because if you do that, you're going to get hurt. And I think that is where I sort of get to the gate, and then I'm like, maybe I will, no, maybe I won't, maybe I will, no, maybe I won't, because it does. We're not talking about even relationship. It's not a male female male relationship. This can be friendships, this can be anything, because a lot of us have been taken advantage of because we're empaths. So I think I will put this up on my Facebook page as well. So let me try one more card to see what the final message is. So we've got about releasing our emotions, a union, being observant, and then eventually allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. And if we do that, we understand that there's a chance of being hurt, because it's an act of bravery. So it's a brave little dragon. Oh, asparagus dragon. Got a lot of green here. Well, I'm not surprised. Consistent. So without me reading it, I think our message overall is to be consistent, right? Be consistent with how we present ourselves, how we put ourselves out in the world, whether it's at work, whether it's at school, whether it's at college, whether it's in our families. Be consistent. Certainly it's important when you're a parent, as I've learned with my adult children, that they've often said, like, we always knew that you were there. They always could rely on me. So I was the mum that if I wasn't there when they walked out of school, there was something wrong, because they knew that I would be early. So I always show up early. It's got a bit more challenging as I've got older, but I've always been show up early. And that made a huge difference. It made them feel safe. It made them know that they could rely on me. And it's the same now, even though they're adults, they know that I am the consistent person in their lives. So I think that's the message to take with us this week. Be the consistent person in people's lives. So I hope you have a good week, and I'll be back with some of my shorter ones this week. So take care.